Okay, so you've got a podcast, or you're thinking about starting one. You know the world of podcasting feels a bit like a gold rush right now, right? But here's the thing. For every hit show, there are literally thousands that just fizzle out. So what's the secret sauce? Well, it's not just about having a great idea or a cool microphone. It's all about the strategic choices you make before you even hit record. Today, we're going to break down some new insights from SiriusXM Media and turn them into a playbook just for you, a guide for navigating what we're calling the great podcast debate. Let's get into it.
Get this, 40%. That's the percentage of creators on Simplecast who launched their show in just the last year. Think about that for a second. That means a huge chunk of your competition wasn't even around 12 months ago. Now that's incredible growth for sure, but it also means the space is getting crowded fast. This isn't just a random stat, it's the reality you're up against, and it highlights just how important your strategy is going to be.
So in this absolute sea of new voices, how do you make your show stand out? How do you make sure you get heard? Well, the answer isn't about just shouting louder, it's about being smarter, and that's exactly what we're here to do. This is your guide to making those key decisions, the ones that will make the difference between your show taking off or just getting lost in all that noise.
All right, so here's the plan. We're going to tackle 3 of the biggest questions every single creator is dealing with right now. First, the big one, video, to film or not. Then, we'll talk audience. Should you go niche or aim for massive? And finally, monetization. How do you stay authentic, but also, get paid? At the end, we'll pull it all together into your very own strategic playbook. Okay, first up, the big one, video. It feels like this question is everywhere, right? You've probably spent all this time perfecting your audio game, but now, is it time to turn on the camera?
So is video really the key to unlocking a huge new audience? Or is it kind of a distraction? Something that pulls you away from that special, intimate theater of the mind magic that makes audio so powerful in the first place. That's the real tension here, and we're going to dig into it.
Look, on the one side, you've got the pure magic of audio. It's that intimacy, right? That voice in your ear feeling. You can build entire worlds with just your words and your listeners' imaginations. It's portable, it's cheaper, it's kind of the soul of podcasting. But then there's video, and you just can't ignore it. It's a discovery machine, it lets people see you and connect on a different level, and yeah, it opens up all these new ways to make money and share clips.
Okay, now check this out, because this is where the data really tells a fascinating story. A full 92% of your audience, the vast majority, are still listening to you the good old-fashioned way, through audio. But a whopping 64% of people are now consuming podcasts on YouTube. See the disconnect? This is huge. It tells us that people might listen on audio, but they discover on video. Video isn't the replacement, it's the front door to your audio show. And that's really the big aha moment from this report. It's not an either-or situation. It's not audio versus video. The smart play is to see how they work together. Think of it like this. Video is the flashy billboard or the welcome mat that gets people to notice your house. But audio? That's the deep, comfy armchair inside where they sit down, get comfortable, and decide to stay for a while.
So what's the takeaway for you, the creator? It means you got to start thinking a little bigger. You're not just a podcaster anymore. You're running a small media brand. Your audio show is the core. It's the main event. But you need to use video as your marketing engine. We're talking clips, shorts, behind-the-scenes stuff, all that snackable content that feeds the discovery algorithms and pulls new people into your world. All right, so you've got people's attention. Now what? Who exactly are you trying to reach? This leads us straight into our second great debate. Do you try to be for everyone, or do you carve out your own super dedicated niche? Just look at these 2 examples. On one side, you've got an absolute giant like Crime Junkie. It's a cultural phenomenon, right? It taps into a topic that millions of people are into. That's massive reach. But then you have a show like Ologies, this wonderfully nerdy, super passionate deep dive into different scientific fields. It's not for everyone, but its audience is fiercely loyal. The thing is, both of these shows are crushing it. They just took totally different roads to get there.
I mean, going for scale is tempting, no doubt. Big numbers, big downloads, maybe even big brand deals. It's the dream, right? But, and this is a big but, don't sleep on the power of the niche. When you go deep on a specific topic for a specific group of people, you build a kind of trust and engagement that the massive shows just can't replicate. Your listeners don't just listen. They feel like they're part of a club. They become your biggest advocate.
And if you think you have to be on the top charts to make it, listen to this. Another 40% for you. That's how much podcast listening happens outside of the top 75 shows. Let that sink in. Nearly half of all the listening time out there is going to shows that aren't the big, famous ones.
That is a huge, underserved audience just waiting for someone like you to create something specifically for them. That is your opportunity.
So, what's the real lesson here? It's that influence comes in all shapes and sizes. Success isn't just a download number. It's about finding that perfect balance between reaching people and truly resonating with them. Honestly, it's that classic idea. It is way, way better to have 1,000 true fans who hang on your every word than 100,000 casual listeners who can't even remember your show's name a week later.
Okay, but a passionate audience is one thing. Turning that passion into a paycheck, well, that's another thing entirely. And that brings us to our final and maybe the trickiest debate of all, monetization. How do you actually make money from this thing without feeling like you're selling out?
This really is the tightrope walk for every creator. On one side, you have this pressure to be brand safe, to sand down your edges so you're advertiser friendly, which can feel, well, it can feel like a creative straitjacket. But on the other side, let's be real. Big brands have the budgets that can turn your passion project into your full-time job. So what's the deal? Are advertisers a necessary evil, or are they actually a crucial partner for growth?
For a perfect example of how to nail this, just look at a master like Conan O'Brien. He had to do ad reads, right? But instead of just phoning it in, he leaned all the way in. He made a whole Oops All Ads episode. It was hilarious, it was perfectly on brand for him, and you know what? It was probably super effective for the advertisers. He basically proved you don't have to sacrifice your creativity for commerce. You can totally do both.
And that really shows you the two sides of this brand safety coin. Yeah, these guidelines can feel restrictive. They can sometimes filter out the bold, edgy conversations that make podcasts so great in the first place. But they also build trust with advertisers, which unlocks bigger budgets and helps professionalize the whole space. It's a trade-off, and the trick is finding a balance that you, as the creator, can live with.
So here's the mindset shift I want you to have. You need to move from a position of just hoping for a sponsor to a position of power. You're not just selling ad slots. You've built an audience. You've built trust. So don't just look for anyone with a checkbook. Look for real partners, brands that actually get your show, that respect your voice, and that want to connect with the awesome community you've built. That's where the magic happens.
Okay, we've wrestled with video, we've figured out audience, and we've talked money. So let's wrap this all up. Let's put it together into a clear, actionable playbook for you and your show. All right, here it is, your 3-point playbook for podcasting success. Number 1, build a hybrid strategy. Use video as your hook and audio as your deep dive. Number 2, find your influence, no matter the scale. Whether you have 1,000 listeners or 1,000,000, focus on resonance over just reach. And number 3, partner with authenticity. Find brands that align with your voice, not ones that try to change it.
You know, the future of this entire medium isn't being decided in some corporate boardroom. It's being decided right now by you, by creators who are making these choices every single day. The decisions you make about your show, they don't just affect your download numbers. They're shaping what podcasting itself is going to become. So the only question left is, what story are you going to tell?